Man, one thing I will say, entrepreneurship is one of the most difficult things that you're ever going to do in your life. And with it being one of the most difficult things that you do in your life, so a piece of advice that I can give is never stop. Never stop. Failure is just a learning experience. As long as you continue to develop and grow and learn, you're never going to be unsuccessful. Continue.
Absolutely, man. I love that advice right there. I love those closing remarks. You're only unsuccessful when you don't try or when you stop trying. So continue to do what you need to do to get to that next level. Focus on getting 1% better every single day.
Yes, sir.
And you'll be 365 by the end of the year, man. Great information that we're giving the veterans and the listeners, man. Really appreciate that. And we always want to make sure we really have people leave with some practical steps as well. Because, we're giving a lot of philosophy and different things as well. And that's much needed, right? Because these are kind of topics that we're getting into that, many people really don't dive into at this level. But we want to give them, more of like some practical things as well. So now, so even from your experience as far as, leaving your job, right? So, you had your business, you started Veterans for Veterans, and, you had to kind of keep your job for a certain amount of time. So when would you say an entrepreneur should actually consider leaving their 9-to-5 to be a full-time business owner?
It all depends. It all depends. I think it is a personal standpoint on when you're able to leave your position. If again, personally, I would say if you're not making your salary 3 times over, you probably shouldn't be leaving your job.
Absolutely. And I love that you said 3 times over there, right? Because you want to make your salary 3 times over before you leave your job. That's kind of the best type of standpoint to take there. A lot of people get the advice where they're told, once you actually replace your income or you make, enough of your monthly income 3 to 6 months in a row, leave your job. And I'm like, nah, don't do that, because you might have a bad summer. You might have a bad summer going. Yeah. And when you became a business owner, right, at least myself, my goal wasn't to replace my 9-to-5 income. My goal was to increase my income, right? The way I look at it is like, I want to do that 3 times over because I want to make sure that I'm in abundance, right? I just don't want to be able to get by and pay my bills and still maintain the same quality of life. As a business owner, I want to have an increased quality of life.
100%. Why can't you live in abundance, right? You want to do that, but also having a plan of action, being able to do that step by step, and having smart goals and smart plans to develop through that. A lot of people are just going off of a whim. If you fail to plan, execution is not going to be there. You have to plan. So planning that exit is very important. And when we're talking about 3 times over, and the reason I say that is because Uncle Sam wants theirs as well, right? Every state is different. Everywhere you go is different. But you have to understand that taxes is a real bill that it ruins some small businesses if you don't plan ahead for it. So when we're talking about being able to take out of the business to replace your job, there should be nothing less than 3 times over. So.
Absolutely. And then we throw some statistics out there. Like, here we're in Las Vegas, Nevada. So I think the typical household income is about $57,000 a year. So let's just say, for regular numbers, right, you're making $50,000 a year. You don't want to leave your job until you're making, $150,000 a year, right, in that business. That would be a really good benchmark there. And also, you want to also understand that once you start that business, you have a spouse or a significant other, they probably ain't gonna want to work no more, right? So if they're working and doing different things, you might want to kind of incorporate that as an increase in your cost of living as well.
Yeah, but that's the thing that you don't consider as well. You must have a supportive spouse. Your significant other, they're so very important. My wife, she does so much. Being able to do things to carry around the house, being able to do things that I'm not able to do because obviously we're running opportunities in regards to business. You must have a supportive spouse to be able to push you through to where you need to go. Because unfortunately, You're not doing this. You can't do it alone, which you can do it alone initially to get things going. But it depends on where you want to stand. If you want to be self-employed, yeah, you can do it alone all day. But if you want to actually build a business, you need a phenomenal team. And we have a phenomenal team. You have a phenomenal team.
Absolutely. And when we're talking about growing that team, right, we're going to give them another practical piece of advice there. And how would you look at hiring, family and friends and different relatives, right, when you're growing your business? What kind of tips do you have for veteran entrepreneurs when they're getting started and they feel the urge to like, yeah, let me give my cousin this job, let me give my friend here this role and that sort of thing?
Man, you want to know one thing? I think about it like this. Jobs have standard qualifications for a reason. When you're applying to a job, you must submit your resume, you must submit an interview. Why are you going to put one of the most precious things and give them to someone who's not qualified to actually do it?
Absolutely.
That's one of the most, for me, I'm not going to drop my child off at just anyone. So why would I why would I position the source of my livelihood just giving it to anyone?
Absolutely. Yeah, because it definitely makes an impact. And how we alluded to earlier, they're not going to treat it the same way, right? It's just given to them. And you really want to make sure you put people in position. Now, again, if you have qualified people around you that, can serve in those roles, absolutely, they could be the first source that you look into because they can learn and kind of grow with you, right?
I agree. Development is cool. Development is, again, when you're talking about starting off things, I want to definitely give again, make sure that entrepreneurs understand that growing and developing a team member that went through the journey with you is invaluable. Okay, being able to know how to grow and develop a team member is invaluable. So I'm not necessarily saying don't hire friends and family, but what I'm saying is be careful with the people that you deliver and provide the most precious things to you, because you're gonna run into some really scary things, things that you may never thought that will come, that you thought you have to deal with some loved ones. So at least make sure you do your due diligence before making that leap.
Absolutely, yeah. You don't want to put yourself where you damage the personal relationship, right? Because definitely. You gave them a job or position they weren't well qualified for.
Most definitely. Totally agree.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, man, thanks, man. This was some real good information. We haven't really gave them too many topics on entrepreneurship. Yeah. We're trying to get into that a little bit more. Reach down into the comments, man. If you have certain questions that you want to talk about regarding the veteran experience of being an entrepreneur, definitely we'll definitely start covering those. And did you have any closing remarks for them before we kind of take it out?
Man, one thing I will say, entrepreneurship is one of the most difficult things that you're ever going to do in your life. And with it being one of the most difficult things that you do in your life, so a piece of advice I can give is never stop. Never stop. Failure is just a learning experience. As long as you continue to develop and grow and learn, you're never going to be unsuccessful. Continue.
Absolutely, man. I love that advice right there. I love those closing remarks. You're only unsuccessful when you don't try, when you stop trying. So continue to do what you need to do to get to that next level. Focus on getting 1% better every single day.
Yes, sir.
And you'll be 365 by the end of the year, man. Thank you guys for watching. Prepare to compete. We out. Peace.